This is the third gate, Kamasaka Zen, known as the Forest Well. Dharma talk number 4, entitled The 16 Vows of the Bodhisattva. These 16 vows are essential to the Buddhist tradition, and they serve as a guiding principle for those who seek to live a life of compassion, wisdom, and altruism. Based in the Mahayana Buddhist tradition, these vows represent the aspirational qualities of a bodhisattva. A bodhisattva who is an enlightened being who postpones their own final liberation, we call nirvana, in order to help others achieve their freedom from suffering and discontentment in their lives. The 16 Bodhisattva vows offer a moral and ethical framework for practitioners to cultivate wisdom, compassion, and mindfulness in their daily lives. So before diving into the specifics of the 16 Bodhisattva vows, it's essential to understand that the Bodhisattva ideal in the Mahayana Buddhism, it's unlike, for example, Theravada Buddhism, where the primary focus of the individual, or it focuses on the individual to attain liberation, Arhatship. Mahayana emphasizes the Bodhisattva path, the path of we call selflessness, where one's spiritual practice is orientated towards the welfare of all beings. A bodhisattva takes a vow to attain enlightenment, not solely for their own benefit, but for their own liberation, but for the benefit of all sentient beings. This ideal simplifies the profound sense of interconnectedness and the universal responsibility that underpins Mahayana Buddhism. Now, the Bodhisattva vows originate from the altruistic vision of and serve as like ethical guidelines for those who wish to embody this Bodhisattva idea in their own practice. Now, the vows are divided into 3 categories: the 3 refuges, the 3 pure precepts, and the 10 grave precepts. Together, these 16 vows form a comprehensive ethical and spiritual guide for living a life with a bodhisattva mission. So, also known as the Triple Gem, or the 3 Jewels, the 3 refuges are foundational to all Buddhist traditions. They represent the practitioner's commitment to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. First one, I take refuge in the Buddha. This vow represents one's commitment to follow the example of the Buddha, who attained enlightenment and demonstrated the possibility of transcending suffering. So taking refuge in the Buddha means recognizing the potential for awakening within oneself and aspiring to embody the qualities of such as wisdom, compassion, equanimity. And these are the qualities that the Buddha represents. In the context of the Bodhisattva path, taking refuge in the Buddha, it also implies a commitment to help others discover their own Buddha nature. The second one, I take refuge in the Dharma. The teachings of the Buddha are known as the Dharma, the path to enlightenment, the path, the attainment of Buddhahood itself, and the attainment of seeing the truth of reality as it is. So taking refuge in the Dharma means committing to study, to practice, and to embody the teachings within ourselves. Teachings such as the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path. For a bodhisattva, this also involves sharing the Dharma with others, and sharing it in a way which that alleviates suffering, a way which can lead to greater wisdom and compassion. Third, I take refuge in the Sangha. The Sangha, the community of practitioners who support each other on the path to this awakening. And these are people who are referred to as the Sangha. So taking refuge in the Sangha involves a commitment to live harmoniously with others and to contribute to the well-being of the spiritual community. But it also recognises the importance of spiritual friendship and mutual support, particularly in deepening one's practice, having the support. And for the Bodhisattva, the Sangha extends beyond the monastic or lay community. It includes all beings. All beings. As all beings are interconnected and interdependent. Now, the three pure precepts, also known as the three general resolutions, provide a simple yet profound framework for ethical conduct. They are broad principles that guide the Bodhisattva's interactions with others and with the world. Verse 1. Not to create evil. This precept encourages practitioners to refrain from actions that cause harm to oneself or harm to others. It involves having a deep awareness of the consequences of one's own actions, one's thoughts, one's speech, and to have a commitment to avoid engaging in behaviours that tend to perpetuate suffering, upset, hurt. This vow encompasses both gross misconduct, such as violence or deceit, and even more subtle forms of harm, such as simply harbouring ill will or acting out of greed. In the Bodhisattva path, not creating evil also means transforming unwholesome states of mind into opportunities for compassion and also for the gaining of wisdom. So, practicing good is the second of the three pure precepts, and it focuses on cultivating positive qualities and engaging in actions that tend to benefit others. But this particular precept is not merely about doing good deeds, but more about cultivating an attitude of kindness, an attitude of generosity, an attitude of compassion in every aspect of life. For a bodhisattva, practicing good also involves skillful means, the use of skillful means, adapting one's approach to help others based on their unique and individual needs and also individual circumstances. The commitment to practicing good emphasizes the bodhisattva's intention to contribute to the welfare of others, to the welfare of all beings. So, actualizing good for others, while the second precept focuses on individual conduct, the third precept emphasizes the collective aspect of the bodhisattva path. Actualizing good for others means not only working for one's own benefit, but also dedicating one's life to the welfare of all beings. This precept highlights the altruistic motivation of the bodhisattva. The bodhisattva who seeks to bring peace, happiness, and liberation to others through their efforts and through their actions. But it also speaks to the bodhisattva's role as a healer, a guide, a protector, someone who selflessly serves the world with wisdom and compassion. They're the three. And then there's the 10 grave precepts. The 10 grave precepts provide more specific guidelines for ethical conduct. Now, while they may seem to resemble moral rules, in the context of Zen, they are seen as living principles. Living principles that require continuous mindfulness and reflection. First, I vow not to kill. This precept respects all life, to abstain from the taking of life. It not only prohibits the taking of life, but also encourages the cultivation of a compassionate heart. A compassionate heart that cherishes all beings. And in the Bodhisattva path, this particular precept extends to all forms of harm, whether it be physical, emotional, or even spiritual. The vow not to kill, the vow to abstain from the taking of life, also involves a commitment to nurture life and to promote the well-being of others. The next, I vow not to steal. This precept encourages the practitioner to refrain from taking what is not freely given. and it highlights the importance of respect for others' property and others' resources, as well as the cultivation of generosity. For a bodhisattva, the vow not to steal extends beyond the material possessions, to include such things as not taking advantage of others, not exploiting people's vulnerabilities, and not appropriating the spiritual or cultural practices of others without respect. The next, I vow not to misuse sexuality. This precept emphasizes the importance of integrity and respect in matters of sexual conduct. It calls for mindfulness in relationships and an awareness of the potential for harm that can often arise through the use of, or the misuse of, sexual energy. For a bodhisattva, this precept also involves respecting the autonomy and the dignity of others, ensuring that one's relationship are grounded in love, trust, and mutual respect. I vow not to lie. This precept calls for honesty and integrity in all forms of communication. It encourages practitioners to speak truthfully, but also to speak in ways that are kind, beneficial, and conducive to harmony. In the bodhisattva path, not lying also means being truthful with oneself. Recognizing self-deception and cultivating a deep commitment to authenticity in all aspects of life. I vow not to intoxicate my body or mind of self or others. This precept cautions against the use of intoxicants that can cloud the mind and harm the body. Well, this may refer to substances like drugs and alcohol. It also includes behaviours or ideologies that lead to delusion or confusion. And for bodhisattva, this precept emphasizes the importance of maintaining clarity and mindfulness, as well as protecting others from harmful influences. Harmful influences that tend to obscure their awareness. I vow not to speak of others' faults. This precept discourages gossip and the unnecessary criticism of others. It encourages us as practitioners to cultivate an attitude of kindness and understanding, rather than judgment and condemnation. For a bodhisattva, this precept is about fostering harmony and trust within the community, as well as recognizing that focusing on others' faults often reflect unexamined issues within oneself. I vow not to praise self at the expense of others. This precept calls for humility and an awareness of the ego's tendency to constantly want to seek validation and superiority. And it encourages practitioners to avoid behaviours that promote arrogance and excessive competition. For a bodhisattva, this precept emphasises the importance of seeing oneself as equal to others, therefore fostering a sense of mutual respect and collaboration rather than simply self-centeredness. I vow not to be possessive of anything. This particular precept encourages non-attachment and the recognition of the impermanence of all things. And it cautions against clinging to material possessions, relationships, or ideals in ways that lead to suffering. So for a bodhisattva, this precept also speaks of the importance of generosity, recognizing that all things are interconnected and that true wealth comes from giving and sharing rather than hoarding. I vow not to harbour ill will. This precept calls for the cultivation of loving kindness and the abandonment of anger, hatred and resentment. It encourages us as practitioners to transform negative emotions into compassion and understanding. So for a bodhisattva, this precept is about recognition, recognizing the suffering that arises from ill will itself, and commit to resolving conflicts with wisdom and empathy. I vow not to disparage the three treasures. This is the final precept. And the final precept emphasizes the importance of reverence and respect for the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. It encourages us as practitioners to honour the teachings, to honour the community of practitioners, and also to honour the spiritual path. So for a bodhisattva, this precept reflects the deep gratitude for the guidance and support offered by the three treasures, and also the recognition that they are essential to the path of awakening. So, to conclude, the 16 Bodhisattva vows provide a comprehensive framework, ethical framework, for those walking the Bodhisattva path. They offer guidance on how to live a life grounded in compassion, wisdom, and mindfulness, and with the ultimate aim of alleviating the suffering for all beings. So these vows are not rigid rules, but rather living principles that require continuous reflection, adaptation, and the deepening of one's own practice. For the modern practitioner, the 16 Bodhisattva vows serve as a timeless and a universal guide for living life of selflessness, integrity, and interconnectedness, embodying the true spirit of the Bodhisattva ideal. And it's through these vows one commits to the well-being of others, walking the path of enlightenment, and walking this path with an open heart and a clear mind.